Greetings everyone, my name is Maria Selena Castante, a student of Bachelor of Elementary Education 3 under the course of Teaching of Language Arts in Elementary Grades. The ultimate goal is to produce graduates who apply the language conventions, strategies, principles, and skills in interacting with others, understanding and learning other content areas, and fending themselves in whatever field of endeavor. As a future language teacher, I would like to create an immersive learning environment for my students so that I can embody that language comes differently and is divergent when it comes to nature and its origin. As a teacher, I would also like to allow my students to talk and express and of course translate their minds. Encouraging mistakes is also one great way to become an effective teacher. We cannot expect that students are flawlessly fluent in communication. So as a facilitator of learning, we carefully correct their errors and guide them so that they can learn from it and use it in their future endeavors. Correcting mistakes is also one great way to push students to their fullest potential. The Language Arts and Multiliteracies curriculum has 4 components. These are the principles of the language development. The first component, which is the language learning process, basically explains the how of language. One concrete example of this is when a teacher teaches his or her students how to read, and then later on, the teacher teaches his or her students on how to learn from what they read. This component could also be present in certain group and collaborative activities wherein students will use their 4 major skills, which are the listening, speaking, reading, and writing. One example also of the language learning process is when a teacher uses any printed materials or videos or even pictures. The teacher would utilize this for the students' better understanding. Here in Component 2, the macro skills of language are applied, such as understanding the culture, understanding the language, its processes, and strategies. One concrete example of Component 2 is when a teacher exposes his or her students to different literacies of the world, or even literacies that has different languages. As a student of MTB-MLE, we are exposed and taught to various things such as morphologia and phonologia, which are the study of tones and the studies of root words, affixes, prefixes, and suffixes. By learning such, we are able to generate and use words carefully in our paragraphs, sentences, or even in phrases, because one word could affect thousands of interpretations. And I do believe that teaching morphology and phonology in students could help them evaluate words and use them effectively. Language is the major instrument of communication, may it be oral or written, and it is the heart of the exchange of meaning. This component could be applied when a teacher allows the students to create essays or even ask them about what is their idea on a certain topic. In creating a piece or an essay, children are allowed to interpret their minds and ideas about a certain event or a situation, and teachers can assess how they translate what they think. And if it's done orally, we teachers can assess or we can evaluate how they deliver their opinions or ideas very well, and how they submit themselves presentably. Assessment is an important aspect of learning and teaching. Teachers must not conduct assessments that only touches one skill of a child, but of course we should conduct an assessment wherein there are holistically evaluated. For example, when you provide activities or collaborative activities for your students, there in their group, they would communicate, they would listen, and of course, they would exchange ideas. One concrete example of a collaborative activity is role playing. Role playing is usually done within a group. So there, teachers can observe whoever listens very well to other members of the group, or whoever communicates through talking very clearly so that they could provide something to the group. Role-playing also requires script writing. So there you can see the exchange of conversations among characters, and if the paragraphs are structured well in the script. If there's a script, there requires reading. So members are ought to read what is in the script, what is the content of the script, so that they would understand it, and they would have an idea on how to deliver it well in front of an audience. Communication is also present in the art of role-playing, wherein it will result later on after their play. So we can evaluate that they have really understood their exchange of ideas. They have delivered well their thoughts about translating it and to reenacting it. So in conclusion, we really need to evaluate the students holistically so that they would enhance their 4 major skills.